Hi, it's Deb from Deb's Days. It's Tutorial Tuesday, and I've got another project for you today. Before I get started, I publish new content frequently, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check out the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find free sewing and crafting patterns and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. If you're a cruiser, I've got you covered there too. Check out my cruising resources section. You'll find cruise tips, trip reports, port and ship-specific articles, and plenty of photos. Now let's get this project started. In addition to your regular sewing supplies, for this project you're going to need a 9.5 by 9.5 piece of cotton fabric, 100% cotton for the back. We're talking about high heat situations, so everything here is going to have to be 100% cotton when we're talking fabric. You'll also need a 6.5 by 6.5 square of blue fabric. What I did is I cut it 6.5, then I cut it diagonally. We're only going to need one piece of this. You need 1.5 inch wide strips of red and beige fabric, or white if you'd like, of different lengths. You'll need cotton batting. Remember, completely cotton. We don't want it to melt. 9.5 by 9.5 piece of that. We need Insul-Bright. We've used this before for our pot holders. 9.5 by 9.5. Remember, it has that foily look to it. We need basting spray. And if you have a walking foot for your machine, use that. Otherwise, just use your machine foot that you have on there already. The first thing we want to do is make our sandwich. So I'm going to take the backing piece. I'm going to face it the right side facing down. On top of that, I'm going to add the Insul-Bright with the foil side facing down. And then I'm going to add the cotton batting on top of that. Now here's where the basting spray comes in. Make sure you've covered your surface. The overspray can get sticky. Follow the directions on your can and baste all 3 layers. So I'll be spraying this, and then I'll be spraying in here too. I have those basted together. Now I'm going to take that diagonal piece. Remember, we had that 6.5 by 6.5. We cut it diagonally. I'm going to add it to the corner, and I'm going to baste it as well. I'm just adding a little bit of spray for that. Now I'm going to take a red strip. I have strips of different sizes, so I'll have to see which one will fit. That definitely won't, but this one definitely will. So I'm going to place right sides facing together, right on along the edge there, and I'm going to take it to the machine, and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam right there, and I'll be right back. All right, I took that 1/4 inch seam right along here. Now I'm going to open it up and iron it down. And you see what happened here? Ooh. All right, I had to pull that out. If you noticed, I had it a little too short. Here's what you need to do, not the way I just did it. Put the right sides together, but make sure you have plenty hanging over both sides. Now, let me try that again. You can pin it if you'd like. I'm just going to hold on to it while I stitch it. Now, when I come back, let's hope, when I fold it, there we go. Okay, much better. Now I'm going to iron that. Press that open, iron it. All right, now I need a white or a beige stripe. Again, make sure right sides are together. Little extra threads there. Make sure it's hanging over the edge, and then go ahead and stitch that right along here, 1/4 inch again. All right, this thing goes together so fast. Open that up, press that, and now we need red again. Right sides together. Make sure it's hanging over the edge. Barely, 1/4 inch. Press her open. And then we go white, red, until we get to the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that off, and I'll be back when it's done. All right, I went all the way to the edge. Now, if you look at it, it looks pretty scraggly with all these strips. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm actually going to use this as my little guide for cutting. I'm going to cut all this extra off, and I see that I actually didn't line things up all the way here. I'm going to clip that off too. So since this was 9.5 by 9.5, I might need to trim it to a 9 by 9 so it cleans up that little mess I made. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, I trimmed that up. Actually, it went about 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. We don't have to be quilting on the back because that's already done there too. What we are going to do is we're going to go around and do a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. So we could leave it as is and call it good, but I'm going to do what I did on our last pot holder, is I'm going to go ahead and go around here, and every 1/2 inch I'm going to make little cuts. And just to warn you, this is thick stuff, so you need some sturdy scissors. About every 1/2 inch. You could do 1/4 inch if you'd want. Sometimes I find it goes smaller, and then my hand gets tired, and then I go wider. But up to you. Do that all the way around, all 4 sides. When you do this, make sure you cut up to the stitching line, not into the stitching line. If you notice I cut a little too far, I'm going to have to go back and stitch that. So be sure not to get that close, or you're actually making more work for yourself. Okay, I've gone back and I fixed that little issue that I created there. This doesn't look like much with these frilly edges, but we're going to go throw this in the washing machine and the dryer, and then you'll see what happens with these edges. All right, I'll be back after the wash and the dry. And in the end, we have a red, white, and blue strip pot holder with some frilly little edges. If you'd like to see more projects like this one, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And stop by the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find free patterns, supply lists, and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. See you next time with another project.